Warning, the following review of Game of Thrones contains spoilers, abject discussion, fan theory, a lack of reading the books, and was filmed at a train station because there's too many people around. Viewer discretion is advised. So, yesterday we finished Game of Thrones. Anyone who follows my Twitter knows that I had big trouble with the first episode. Too many characters, family trees I didn't understand, a lot of exposition, which frankly turned out to be useful because I didn't know what the hell was going on. But by the second and third episode, I was into it. I was hooked. You know, I like the scheming, I like the politics, I like the fact that there's one guy named Sean Bean who actually has any kind of like nobility or morality, and frankly he gets a shit time of it. This is a crap sack world. Everyone is scheming against everyone, everyone's lying, everyone's basically out for themselves, which is interesting to watch, if not fun. Train. Okay. And so I was really digging it, and I was talking about it with Tanya. And the fun thing about scheming is that you get to watch all the plot and counterplot, gambit and counter gambit. But you knew that. But I knew you knew that. I thought you knew I knew that. Oh, I did. But I only knew that you knew. I didn't know that you knew that I know. Which can be frustrating, but it was done right. It was done well. Then things started happening. When people are plotting for war, pretty much anything can happen, and the fun is watching those schemes kind of spill out and, you know, change and stuff like that. But when things actually happen, it's kind of underwhelming. It's like, okay, now there's a war. There's a war because of a kidnapping gambit that doesn't work. We're gonna kidnap a dwarf that his father doesn't care about for a crime he didn't commit. We're gonna hold him for a while, then he's gonna escape, which is cool because he's awesome. And then the person who kidnapped him, Stark's wife, is just going to sit around and go, all right, well, that didn't work. I'm still angry. I'm still angry for the original reason I was angry, but, you know, my little gambit worked, so I'm going to look like this for a while because nothing goes my way. And then it's like, all right, well, Rob, the older son, who is kind of likable, kind of like a mini version of Sean Bean, and he's doing stuff, and I don't care. I want to go back to the people I like. Oh wait, 2 trains at once. So let's get to the last 3 episodes. These were the ones, I think, after really getting into it and liking what's going on, and especially liking the stuff with the Dothraki and Daenerys, and thinking, you know, it was a hateful storyline in the first episode, but they've really developed it into something I want to watch. And, you know, the changes that are happening, and the fact that they're turning into this power couple, which is awesome. And then, this goes into spoiler frame. Spoiler. Okay. They're in this village. Daenerys is like, oh, no, don't be the horrible Mongol horde that you're being, because that's not cool. I don't approve of that. What I want you to do is save those women over there, all of them. They're like under my protection and stuff, which is cool because it fits with her character. I mean, she was taken as a captive. She's not going to want more female captives to be taken, which of course does not sit well with the other male Dothraki. No women command me. I can do what I want. So then the Khal, the king, basically stands up to that rider. Stop that, you. That's bad. My woman's correct. And y'all should listen to her because she's smart and carries my son and crap. So then that warrior takes out his sword and says, you know, fuck you. I don't want to ride after a Khan. A Khal doesn't do this. I said Khan instead of Khal is very similar. I don't want to ride with you anymore. And the Khal gets to be super badass and like walks to it and lets the sword cut him. And it's like, yeah, fuck you. How dare you pull the sword on me? I'll have you killed, etc., etc. And basically walks up to him through his sword and kills him, which is badass. It's awesome. But then his wife notices the tiny little cut he's got on his shoulder and goes, oh no, you're hurt. We need to give you medicine, which, you know, makes sense. You don't want an open wound in a camp full of horse dung and other miscellaneous shit. Wait, train. yeah, that makes sense. But everyone treats this like this is this insane thing. Like, oh no, we're Dothraki, we're tough. We don't bleed. We ain't got time to bleed. And then this woman, this healer woman, one of the ones she saved, comes up and she's like, I know how to heal things. Let me help. Everyone, of course, resists, going, you're from a town we just killed, and you're a witch, and we don't trust witches. And Daenerys is like, no, I saved her. Let's give her a shot. And the show presents this as the right decision. She's showing compassion. She's right for listening to this woman, much in the way that she's right to save this woman from being raped. That's cool, and I accept that as part of the show. All right, rape is not a good thing. To cut a long story short, the woman helps, and the Khal gets worse. He gets festering, and the poultice she puts on doesn't work, and so she finally says, look, let's do magic, blood magic, because nothing can go wrong. It's in the fine print. Nothing can go wrong. Why wouldn't you? And then she's like, look, we need a life. Bring his horse in. And so they kill the horse, and the blood goes everywhere, and it's a whole thing. Daenerys says, look, keep him alive. That's all I want. And she's like, well, it's going to be a price. I don't care. Keep him alive. So she keeps him alive, but leaves him in a vegetative state. He's like a staring vegetable. Daenerys, from the shock of it all, goes into labor, and her baby is born, stillborn and monstrous. Which, of course, we don't see. We have to take the witch's word for it. And the witch then takes the chance to gloat and say, look, I killed your Khal. I basically had you kill your own baby, and I've left you with a vegetable. Why? Because you destroyed my village. Sure, you saved me, but, you destroyed my village. And this is all put forward in such a matter-of-fact way that there's no impact to it. It's not like, I wasn't sitting there going, oh my god, how does this happen? I was reacting to it like it was this Vince Russo shocking swerve of, you know what, we're tired of writing the Khal and Daenerys and baby scenario, so after an entire season of investing in these characters, we're going to have her make what seems like a right decision that turns into a wrong decision, gets her baby killed, gets her husband killed, has her lose her tribe, lose everything, lose her attempt at mercy, because her one attempt at mercy ended up with a witch killing her husband. So, and then that's it. We move on. What the fuck? I mean, Tanya, who had read ahead, damn it, was saying, oh no, he's gonna die. He should never have trusted that witch. You what? There has been nothing in that scene that earns that betrayal. Oh, hang on, train. Yeah, nothing in that scene hints at the betrayal. And that could just be that, this is Game of Thrones. We're not meant to like anyone. We're not meant to trust anyone. I mean, and it's just a pain, It's like, why do I invest in these characters if they're just gonna fuck each other over? It's not worth it. I mean, let's run through the characters, shall we? Jon Snow. Oh, I'm a bastard. But I want to be my own man, so I'm gonna join the guard on the wall and be like a warrior monk, and no one will judge me for who I am. But wait, I want to be treated as special because I was raised in a normal household. You treat me like a common man. That pisses me off. I brood with generic rage. And let's not forget his little buddy. I'm totally not Samwise Gamgee, even though my name is Sam and I'm also fat, and you also try to leave me and I run and tell you that your honor needs to be sated. And then we cut to the Queen. Oh, you pushed my youngest son out a window and crippled him. And I'm mad about that. However, that was Jaime Lannister. So I'm going to take his younger brother and I'm going to kidnap him, even though he had nothing to do with the plot. Nothing at all. Even though he's the least favorite Lannister. Even though nobody listens to him. No one cares about what he does. He's not involved, but I'm going to kidnap him. I'm going to subject him to a kangaroo court from my sister, who is nuts. Like, seriously, off her head, inbred nuts. Breastfeeding her 8-year-old son at court. Fucking crazy. And when he somehow works it out and cheats the system and gets away, which as an audience we love because it was stupid and we like him. He gets away. I'm going to then get pissed off. And then I'm going to go and push my son into taking this war. All based on faulty information. Ugh. And then we get to Robb. Oh, I'm mad that my father left Winterfell. I'm gonna hang out with my former prisoner buddy who does nothing but, question me all the time, and I'm gonna look serious about things, and then I'm gonna ride to war I shouldn't ride to, and everyone tells me I shouldn't ride to, and then I'm gonna lose, but I'm still gonna be upset about it. Okay, we know it's an HBO series. We know that there's gonna be sex and violence. I mean, this is low fantasy. It's not Lord of the Rings, Wheel of Time, high fantasy. It's low fantasy, Catherine Kerr or David Eddings, and the idea that it's, there's cursing, there's swearing, there's sex, there's all these things that most likely did happen in these kind of settings. HBO has decided to show that by having every scene of exposition have a naked chick in it. And it's fan service, but it's so blatant that it's just like, why? Littlefinger. He runs a bunch of whorehouses. He's also a scheming, lying, manipulating person. But he makes no qualms about that. He says, that's who I am. You were stupid to have trusted me. I understand all that. He then has a scene where he talks about his motivation, and it's an interesting speech. Hang on. Time out. Train. It's interesting, and I'm listening to it, and he basically, in talking to this person, reveals his entire motivation and plot and everything about his character, and it's really interesting. What's the backdrop for this scene, you might ask? He's instructing a hooker to teach another hooker how to pretend to enjoy sex by having a hooker essentially fist her. And I mean, it starts off as just, you're cuddling and act like you enjoy it. And then as he starts to talk, at one point he points out and he goes, play with her ass. I'm like, thanks, Elvis. There's a lot of noises in the background, and I'm actually, for the first time, I'm thinking, God, woman, shut up. I'm trying to listen to the expository dialogue. Shut up with your moaning and your writhing and shit. I can think of at least 4 off the top of my head. I can think of 4 scenes where expository dialogue is covered by having them either visit a whorehouse or have sex with a mistress. Come on, guys. You want to be taken seriously. Or at least I think you do. We know you're on HBO. We get it. Stop shoving tits in our face. Although, maybe I shouldn't speak too soon. These are my thoughts. Anyway, the whole thing, I really enjoyed it, but it left me feeling angry. Like, I was trying to explain it to Tanya, and it's like, I got so pissed off. I was like, why are these people doing these things? These characters are dead unlikable. And yet, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, the more I go to TV tropes and read about all of these particular subplots and stuff, and how this works and how that works, and how there's a reference early on that only the king would be stupid enough to meet the Dothraki in open field. And then 3 episodes later, the king says, I'm not stupid enough to meet the Dothraki in open field. However, if I hold up in my castle, they'll burn my villages and they'll kill my people and they'll destroy things. And so it may be the only option. I love that stuff. I love that continuity nod where it's like they mention that and he brings it up. It's brilliant. Or someone talks about about sabers versus armor and saying, saber, you can fight faster with the saber and leather armor, but that's not going to penetrate plate mail. And the other guy says, but I'm faster and I can run rings around you. And then there's a fight where those 2 guys fight. And the guy with the armor catches the saber under his arm and then stabs the guy with the other one, which is awesome, for 1. And 2, it's a reference to that conversation. And 3, it's realistic. I love that stuff. So, yes, my lack of a point. Game of Thrones, excellent series, worth the time put in. God, does it piss me off. It pisses me off. And I'm in a train station. And I have to go to work. Happily, though, it's a mountain train, which means I arrived at 7:48 for an 8:30 start. It is now 10 past 8, and I'd better start making my way. Oh, train. Anyway, that's all. And of course, 5 seconds after I finish the review, look what's on the bus. I don't know if I got that in frame. That was a Game of Thrones poster. Sean Bean cover.
He dies.